Hi YouTube, this is Angie the Anti-Theist, and today I want to talk about an uncomfortable topic. This isn't directly atheism or religion related, although in my case it was. I was molested as a small child. I was set from the age of 7 to 8 by a neighbor's dad. Now, he was not part of my group. I have no idea what his religious affiliation was, nor do I care. That, for me, was not, he was not a priest or, an elder or someone in my church. Although that has been the case for many, many friends of mine, that wasn't the case for me. But some of the things that I was taught definitely made the situation worse. I was taught to obey, to not question my elders. The specific quote my grandmother used all the time was, "Don't contradict your elders." Which there's biblical support for the idea of honor your father and mother, and since that's not elaborated on very clearly other than obedience throughout the Bible, stoning an unruly child to death and whatnot, I was basically taught to unquestioningly obey adults, which meant that when this situation felt very odd and wrong to me, I assumed that that was something wrong with me. After a year, I finally was able to break through that brainwashing to tell my mother, and she called the police, and we instantly moved forward with secular positive actions, which was a good thing, and I'm very grateful to the police. I'm grateful that the state of Florida covered the cost for me to go to group therapy, and for my lawyer, and for the doctor's visits, which was my first ever as a little faith healing child, was the one to verify I'd been sexually abused for trial. Kind of traumatizing also. So there's a few ways in which religion made it worse. Another one would be the way religion views female virginity. I definitely felt like I was damaged goods. And the religious doctrines of, purity and virginity and, all these, as a girl reading Focus on the Family's teen girl magazine, Brio, I certainly felt, unclean or unacceptable. I felt like I was not a virgin, through no fault or action of my own, but going by biblical standards, I wasn't. And, that's not something that actually matters. Like, you don't have to be a virgin. That's not where your value lies, sweetheart, male or female. You are a person, not a hymen. But, I didn't know that. And again, that was a result of religious influence. So there are a few things that I intentionally do as a mother to prepare my son to protect him. One of the most important and simplest ones is I ask him, "Can I have a hug?" Or "Do you want to kiss?" And he is allowed to say no to me with no emotional repercussions. I do not guilt trip him about this. He is not required to give me a hug. It's his body. I tell him things like, "This is your body." As an infant, every time I changed his diaper, from the time that he started preschool when he was 2 and on up, I would just periodically, every few times, mention, "These are your special parts, and nobody should really touch these unless they're changing your diaper. And if they do, please tell mommy." Not trying to traumatize him or scare him or tell him things he really can't understand. He's not in life situations where he's going to be, taking candy from strangers. And the vast majority of people who abuse children know the child. The majority of the time, it's not a stranger. It's someone in that child's life. So telling my son things like, "This is your body." He gets to pick a lot of the times what he wears when it's not a school uniform day. And he gets to pick whether or not he has a haircut. He gets all kinds of decisions about his body, and I continually remind him that it's his, and also that my body matters. You know, if he tries to hit me, I remind him of things like personal sovereignty. I call it, you know, body space, or, you know, my rights, or things like that. I try to put it in preschool terms, but he knows that he has a right to not be hurt physically. He has a right to not be harmed by someone's hands. He has a right to tell someone to take their hands off of him. He has permission and encouragement to tell me if something like this happens. So again, this isn't, you know, directly religion or atheism issue. You know, children in all walks of life can and unfortunately are, you know, victimized. But there are a few things that you can do, simple little things. Just letting your kid know that they get to pick when they want to hug, you know, crazy Aunt so-and-so. I mean, I had no choice in that kind of matter as a child. My aunts would cruelly, I mean, they would tickle me till I'd be on the ground crying and screaming. They would pinch my bottom because they thought it was really funny when I screamed and told them not to. That wasn't religious, you know, those weren't religiously motivated actions, but they were still actions that contributed to making the situation worse than it might necessarily have had to be. So, I don't know, I'm a mom and a survivor, and so for those two reasons, I wanted to get this simple little message out there, and I hope that, you know, all of you are safe, and that your children are safe too, and that you have great and godless days. Peace.